Hi everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Power of Knowing Forums LinkedIn Lives episode 139. Today we are discussing on the topic of how predictive AI is shaping decision making in real-time future insights. We have the honor of having Ekhlaque Bari, founder of founder and CEO X.O, a generative AI company, a keynote speaker, author, and keynote speaker and a speaker. Sorry about that. Bringing Mr. Ekhlaque Bari to the dais. Hi, sir. Welcome to our podcast.
Hello, Prem. How are you doing?
Good,
Good
sir. How
evening
are
to
you
you.
doing? Sir, without further ado, let's jump into the topic, sir. Sir, what are some recent changes or significant changes that we have witnessed with AI on decision making, sir?
Hmm. Well, first, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day to the audience watching this, depending upon the time of the day where you are. Thank you for joining and watching the show. Well, see, the biggest change in AI right now is the introduction of generative AI as such, which is changing the game for AI itself. That has been the most significant change. If the question were what has been the most significant impact that AI has had, then it would be its ability to predict.
Hmm.
And you, I, businesses, everybody has been either a consumer or a provider of predictive AI. As simple as Google search, when you start typing in words and it predicts what is the potential next word. And now that has come in WhatsApp and almost LinkedIn and almost everything with generative AI, which is predicting the words, is just one form of prediction. Um, Netflix recommendations, Amazon recommendations are other forms of predictions. So predictive AI has had the maximum or the most significant impact um, on the AI side.
Okay. Sir, we've been talking on AI everywhere, and many of the people see AI being mentioned in every corner, as you rightly said. AI is everywhere, even WhatsApp and stuff. What are the types of AI and how different is predictive AI? Can you give us some insight on that?
Yeah, so yeah, there are various types of AI. The first one, and the one that has come in very recently because of generative AI, is called descriptive AI. That is
Okay.
to describe what is happening. So if you have information on sales or if you have information on operations, AI can describe what is happening. Your sales are going up, sales are going down, your inventory is going up, you're running out of something. So that's descriptive, pretty easy, but it's been enabled by generative AI. The next one is diagnostic AI, which is say, trying to figure out why is something happening. So if sales are going up or inventory is going down faster than one would imagine, or the customers are leaving, uh, 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 the ability to figure out why that is happening is referred to as diagnostic AI. The another very popular form of AI, other than predictive AI, which I'll come to soon, is
Hmm.
called, for lack of a better word, I'm going to say detective AI, which
Okay.
is actually anomaly detection. Okay, and this is a very, very powerful branch of AI, which is, for example, detecting fraud, anti money laundering, cyber attacks. These are all, even detecting failures, even detecting earthquakes. So these are all, a lot of predictive is based on detective, meaning anomaly detection. What is normal, and within that normal, what is not so normal. So if you, for example, uh, when you purchase jewelry, let's say from a store outside of the city that you reside in, and you pay via credit card, you will immediately get a call from your credit card company saying, "Are you making this purchase, sir?"
Yeah.
Right? Whereas a jewelry or a similar purchase from your city next to your door or somewhere you have purchased it from before is not flagged off. So anomaly is a jewelry transaction outside of the city that you reside in and from where you have not done before, or even so that is anomaly detection, safe of fraud, cyber attack, AML, so on and so forth. So I've spoken about descriptive, I've spoken about diagnostic, I've spoken about detective. Um, AI. The next one is prescriptive AI, which is to say that if something is happening, what should you do?
Hmm.
Okay. So if you are likely to experience a cyber attack, then perhaps shut down the network. Right?
Hmm.
If you are running out of inventory of, let's say, cheese, and you are a pizza retail chain in a particular store, then you have to order cheese, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that is prescriptive AI. And the last one, which is the topic for discussion today, is predictive AI. And predictive AI is, as the name explains itself, predicting what's going to happen. And I have an acronym for, what are the kind of different kind of predictive AI exist, but it is about predicting uh, words, it's about predicting inventory, it's about predicting behavior. I have a formula called ABCD for what predictive models do. So five types of AI: descriptive, diagnostic, detective, prescriptive, and finally predictive.
Okay. Coming to another point, now you spoke about predictive. Are there any kinds of predictive AI in, again, going in deeper?
Yeah, you could there are many ways to skin the predictive
Okay.
AI cat, right? One way is to look at predictions that are real time, which is like the words or fraud,
Okay.
or so on and so forth. Real time predictions and decision making. The other
Mm-hmm.
one is predicting, like sales forecast, predicting demand, predicting weather, which may not be. Weather is not really honestly real time. uh,
Mm.
Weather can be forecasted for the next 30 days or even 6 months, or at least for a week. So
Yeah.
that is one way to distinguish between predictive AI. One is real time versus non-real time. But let's the other way to look at predictive AI is to look at what kind of things AI
Mm.
can, and that's where I use the word acronym ABCD. It's a very simple one to remember, of course. First, A is action.
Okay.
Okay, to predict that a customer is going to do A, or customer is going to act in a certain way, um, or a business is going to act in a certain way, is one kind of prediction. The second one, which is kind of A, but not necessarily that, is more of an aggregation, is B, is predicting the behavior. Customer is likely to churn, the employee is likely to leave,
Mm.
right? The person is likely to not pay you back. Kind of a group behavior, or predicting behavior, right? The weather is going to behave this way.
Mm.
So B is for behavior. Now C is for a circumstance or a crisis. So predicting a failure, that this machine is about to fail, predicting a earthquake, or predicting an incident like a crime is likely to happen or an accident is likely to happen. That is the C, the crisis or a circumstance, predicting a circumstance or a crisis. And D is predicting demand or the need that people have, right? So if you were to predict how many cars you should stock in your showroom, if
Mm-hmm.
you were to predict sales, that you are likely to sell so many of mobile phone units, or so many people are likely to take your loan, or so many people are likely to open accounts. That is predicting need or predicting the demand. So action, behavior, crisis slash circumstance, and D is demand. So these are the four kinds of predictive AI models. Another way to look at predictive AI, apart from real time and non real time.
Sir, with this, I think I have an how a predictive AI played a crucial role in making decisions, and what was the outcomes and the lessons we've learned from decision making of predictive AI.
I'll come to the lessons as a separate question, because that's how we can do
Yeah.
better with predictive AI. But as I said at the beginning, apart from anomaly detection or the detective AI, predictive AI has had the most
Okay.
significant impact, right? And look at you, we are all surrounded by predictive AI. I
Hmm.
spoke about Google,
Yeah.
I spoke about Amazon, I
Hmm.
spoke about Netflix.
Yes.
Uh, and let me tell you something very interesting. I come from a retail background with a quick service restaurant. So there
Okay.
is one quick service restaurant. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm not going to mention the brand because I'm not sure I have the permission to share
Oh,
this.
okay.
But this brand is very particular about delivering within a certain time period,
Hmm.
right? So when you have to deliver within a certain time periods, whether it is 10 minutes, which is quick commerce today, or 30 minutes that a pizza company does, every second is crucial.
Hmm.
Every second is crucial, right? So what this company did was, for its e-commerce website or app, right? One
Hmm.
is to start preparing an order after the order has come in. That means the customer has placed the order.
Hmm.
The other one is to predict whether or not the customer is going to place the order after the customer has built the cart. You see, there are few seconds and sometimes minutes elapse between you making your cart, saying that I want one garlic bread and two pizzas, or I want ABCD grocery items, so on and so forth. You have the cart, and
Hmm.
then you have to make and complete the payment, and only when you complete the payment would the
Hmm.
order go through. But
Correct.
between this are a few seconds, right,
Hmm.
which are crucial. Now this company had a live screen of the number of people who have completed the cart and
Okay.
are on the payment page,
Uh-huh.
and real time decisions are being made as to which customer is likely to complete the payment and which customer is
Okay.
likely to not make the payment. And wherever it is predicted the customer is likely to make the payment, start preparing the order before the payment is made,
Oh, okay.
right?
Right.
So this is one power of predictive AI. And the one which is which is old, but I don't know many how many people know. But when Netflix started and
Hmm.
they brought up this algorithm of
Hmm.
what are you going to watch, they actually did a hackathon,
Okay.
posed this problem, and they said that whoever makes the best prediction model is
Hmm.
likely to win $1 million.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay.
and so several teams around the world um, competed. And it's the same has happened for oil drilling, right? So
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
you predict where am I likely to find oil.
Okay.
Such competitions go on, but I'm talking specifically about Netflix because
Hmm.
during the competition, what happened was two teams emerged and they were equally good, but they had very different ways of prediction. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And the final winner was the combination of these two teams.
Wow. Okay.
They combined, and so the Netflix algorithm that you see today, as to the titles that are appearing, whether it is horizontally or vertically, what appears is
Hmm.
is is very very personalized to you, and that personalization is based off a predictive engine. That if you have watched these shows and you are of a certain demographic, then you are likely to watch these. Another powerful example of predictive AI.
I think there are some similarities when it comes to the data mining and this. What is your take on it, sir? It's
Uh,
often, see, Google started data mining initially before AI predictive analysis or stuff, right? When they had when you search on a Google tab, you used to get that list. How different is this when compared to predictive analysis?
these are these are very different things, right? So one, we
Okay.
are talking about a dish, the other one, we are talking about the ingredients for the dish,
Okay.
right? So data is the ingredient for AI.
Hmm.
Without data, that, let's take the example of Netflix algorithm, or even for that matter the Google prediction uh,
Hmm.
of words, or any other prediction, right? If you don't have data,
Hmm.
if I don't know what you have watched, how would I predict?
Okay.
Right? So data mining and collecting, or what is called data acquisition, is
Hmm.
absolutely key to deploying any kind of AI. Well, not only predictive
Okay.
AI especially, but detective AI, diagnostic AI. Data is very, very important. And acquiring that data, Google crawlers acquire that data, or every time you type for a search, if you don't follow the prediction, you are giving data to Google for it to predict the next time. And they do that by geography, by region, by local, by so on and so forth. So data mining is like going and buying vegetables or ingredients before you can cook the dish, which is the predictive AI.
Okay. Now, coming into how leadership looks at predictive AI, what are some of the predictive AI benefit for businesses?
Hmm. Okay, so first thing, okay, let's take this example of a restaurant chain.
Hmm.
uh, for a moment, think about it. If I am able to predict, I'm predicting sales,
Yeah,
okay, and my items, because I'm in food, items are perishable.
correct.
So if I over predict my sales, let's say the
Hmm.
sale actually is going to be of 100 and I predict 120, 20 20 INR worth, or you dollars worth of items are going to perish, because I'll only sell 100,
Hmm.
right? And if I under predict, which
Hmm.
is 80, that means I have lost sales. So
Yeah.
either you have more cost, or you have less revenue,
Hmm.
right? So the first benefit to businesses is one, not to have any kind of lost revenue, right? The second benefit is to save on costs,
Hmm.
right? So now cost saving is of, we usually think of operational costs, but for a lending company, the credit cost, the cost of NPA, the cost of people not returning your money, the cost of default. So if you are able to predict defaults or credit scores correctly, then you will be able to underwrite correctly, and therefore you will be able to minimize your credit cost. So one is revenue. It will help you with your top line. The second is it will help you with reducing cost. The third thing it will do is it will help you improve customer experience.
Hmm.
Imagine every time you have to type in Google, right? Imagine you have to go through all Netflix titles. Imagine you have to go through all Amazon books to find out what is the next book you should read, right? So customer experience, because it is predicting that, because you watch this show, or you bought this item, or because you type these two words, these are going to be the next. It reduces the effort on the part of the customer, and therefore it helps in customer experience. The fourth one is operational. Like as I told you, if I have to do turn around something in a given point, in a given time, whether it is to deliver food or to deliver a vehicle, or whatever that might be, turnaround time, resolution time, response time, it can help in improving operational KPIs, whatever your operational KPIs are, whether it be, ensuring uptime of the machine or
Hmm.
uptime of a system. right? So operational excellence is the fourth one. The fifth one is it will help you manage risk,
Hmm.
right? So simple weather forecast. While the weather forecast, basis the weather forecast, you can decide whether you're going to stock more or stock less of air conditioners if you're selling air conditioners,
Right.
right? Or again, I gave the example of underwriting, and even after underwriting, the customer is on board.
Hmm.
For the running book to be able to predict that this is the customer that is likely to churn, and this is a customer that is likely to pick up the call at this particular time. All of these are risk management, is where reducing risk.
Hmm.
And so largely these five revenue, basically everything, it'll help you with your top line, it'll help you with your bottom line, because it'll help you reduce cost, it'll help you improve customer experience, which will go back into revenue, it'll help you improve operational KPIs, and finally it'll help you manage and reduce risk.
Sir, again, coming back to AI piece, again, there's a lot of discussions, lot of thought process. Everybody talks about it. Can you help us with or explain us the gamut of AI, sir?
Yeah, I explained the gamut of AI, but let me try and explain that with an example that all of us can relate to.
Hmm.
Okay. So let's say, Delhi or Bombay or any other metro, New York, whichever, any metro in the world or any city or any town in the world wants to reduce crime
Hmm.
with the help of CCTV monitoring.
Okay.
Okay, let's take this as an example.
Hmm.
So the first question is, how many CCTVs and where should you place the CCTVs?
Right.
Right, so the planning phase, so that's where AI comes into play, saying that based on this data, I suggest that blind spot, dark spots, so on and so forth, you need to place 100,000 CCTVs, and these are the locations where you're going to place the CCTVs, right? The second one is, as I said, descriptive AI, which has become more of a thing after generative AI. Is you can clearly describe that at this particular place the traffic is in a jam. At this particular place, it's dark. The street lights are off. So on and so forth. So you can describe what is happening, and
Hmm.
therefore be bubbling up things that you should be paying attention to. So that's descriptive AI. Now, detective AI is being able to say that crime is likely to happen here or is happening here,
Hmm.
right? So you're going through the CCTV footage. The AI is analyzing the CCTV footage and says there is a crime underway at this particular place. So that's called anomaly detection,
Okay.
uh, right? Then the prescriptive, which is if the crime is happening, what
Hmm.
should I do? Should I call the PCR van? Should I call the PCR van and an ambulance, or should I do A, B, C, D things? And if the
Okay.
PCR van at the nearest location is already occupied, what should you do? So the actions that need to be taken, which is the prescription based on what you have detected, is another form of AI. And the last one is predictive AI. That means one is to say the crime is in play, the other one is to predict that the crime is likely to happen
Okay.
based on CCTV. So, in this one example of trying to reduce crime in a city using CCTV, I've told you about planning, number of CCTVs and where. Secondly, monitoring. Third
Hmm.
is detecting. Fourth is prescribing, and the fifth is predicting.
Sir, I was talking to one of our speakers, and in the automobile industry,
Hmm.
or sorry, telecom industry runs a fleet of vehicles. So
There
your
are
point, vehicles,
vehicles, yeah.
yeah. So taking your point, you said if that vehicle is not available and stuff just some time back. So what I understood from them is they have monitoring done using AI, and they check, like, if there is a equipment failure at say Jayanagar in Bangalore, and when they check at the fleet, they find out using which vehicle can reach that place quickly, and which vehicle has the equipment that is there. So everything is monitored in terms of having a IoT sensors done there, and
Hmm.
how that is getting tracked. So if a tower is not having a better signal or there's a problem with that signal, the fleet management gets in and says this is the piece of information that this truck is carrying, and this is the equipment that is available, and this is the time it can reach. If there is a fault, we'll report it. So that is one way I got to understand from one of our podcasts, saying that that's how the telco companies keep their services on all the time.
Yeah,
And I was
exactly.
surprised when they said telco companies run a fleet of vehicles. That's one thing which I never thought about, saying fleet of vehicles for a telco company is
They,
something.
yeah, they not only run a fleet of vehicles, but they are one of the largest consumers of diesel
Yeah,
and petrol, because there are a lot of towers run on generators,
right.
right? Because the electricity is so whether it is fleet or whether it is fuel or whether it is loss of a signal or predicting a failure at the tower, there are so many use cases for
Yeah,
AI. In this particular example, it's a great example of and I cannot have an infinite fleet, right?
yeah,
I have to
yeah,
manage the cost. So how do I optimize my fleet and
right.
yet be able to keep the uptime of my towers and my signals? Is all kinds of AI into play. There is the planning, the forecasting AI. There is prescriptive AI. There is diagnostic AI. There is detective AI. There is predictive AI. All are play. Uh,
Hmm.
and yeah, they are they run a fleet. They are one of the largest consumers of diesel, and it's a big job keeping the mobile signal 24 cross 7 available to all consumers
So
and
I
AI.
think, yeah, with this point, I think, see, most of the enterprises are now aligning to AI or leveraging AI. Can we have some pointers or some mistakes that the enterprises have done while leveraging AI in specific? Or
I got a long list, right? That is why I would say that perhaps only 5% or maximum 10%. And if you were to like put me under severe pressure and say no, you have to say some, no, because I would say 20% of companies actually leverage AI, but only 5% leverage it to its hilt.
okay.
20% leverage, but 80% to 90% largely companies are bereft of the
Hmm.
benefits of AI. Okay. And there are many reasons for that. First of all, the biggest mistake that enterprises make is they do not realize what AI can do. I told you AI can help you with revenue, cost, operational excellence, customer experience, risk. I mean, what else would you want anything to help you with, right? Top line, bottom line, customer
Yeah,
experience,
yeah.
risk, compliance, operational excellence, right? So first thing is the appreciation of the power and the benefit of AI. So let's say
Hmm.
you cross that hurdle and you realize, oh, AI is great. Then the second mistake that people make is they don't use go business use case, right? They say,
Hmm. Hmm.
"Chalo AI karte hain." Like let's do big data, collect all of
Hmm.
the data, right? But what are you collecting data for, right? What are you doing AI for? So it is the one of the most common mistakes, or the common mistake is not to work business use case backwards for AI. Decide what you're going to use AI for. Are you going to use AI for prediction? Are you going to use AI for diagnosis? Are you going to use AI for detection? Decide, uh,
Hmm.
and then start building your AI capability. The third one is which is kind of the nature of the beast and enterprises, and this is the biggest. The first two or three can be overcome by a change of attitude. But the third one, which is the availability and the quality of data, these are two different things. What? ठीक है मेरे पास I want to be able to predict like Amazon, but I'm not collecting data. You brought the so I'm not acquiring data. I don't have data. I don't have a data available. uh, the second one is I have data available, but the data is captured like किसी का मोबाइल नंबर इज करेक्टेड incorrectly, addresses are collected incorrectly. So the quality of data, and then if you're capturing the data and the quality of data is okay, you're not consolidating the data. That means one set of data is sitting in silo A, another set of data is sitting in silo B. You don't have a data warehouse, data lake where you can consolidate data and be able to build AI algorithms on top of that. So data is a big challenge, and this is where a lot of companies give up, saying I understand the power of AI. I'm working business use case backwards, but was I can't data quality, who's going to solve for data? So uh, having a very robust, I just saw something on LinkedIn saying there's no AI strategy without data strategy. I
Yeah.
agree with that. I agree with that. But data strategy cannot be for the sake of data strategy. It needs to be part of for the purpose of AI strategy. So the third challenge that organizations face, and this is a big one, is with respect to data. Then the other challenge, and this is very important to understand. I have actually written an article called "Choose Wise, Implement Foolish." Okay,
Okay.
it is, of course, a play on penny wise, pound foolish. But where
Okay.
I'm making the point that enterprises spend 6 months selecting which CRM and which ERP to implement. They'll try to decide between SAP and Oracle, or between CRM A and CRM B, or financial system. 6 months of analysis and interviews and comparisons and negotiations. And then when it comes to implementation, 3 months,
Yeah.
right? So you have spent 6 months choosing a system. Why are you like tying yourself up in knots to try to implement it in 3 months and 6 months? By So, especially classic AI, machine learning models, building a machine learning model, given the challenges with respect to data, can take anywhere between 6 to 9 months to go to production, to train a model and to put it in production. You must have the patience and the perseverance to see through these, have give it adequate time for 6 to 9 months. And the one that comes subsequent to that is, okay, chalo, you have the patience to give it 6 to 9 months, and you put it in production saying it's not working. I did sales forecast. Now it is only giving 60-70% accuracy. It is the first try of the AI. You have to spend time in fine tuning the AI model to improve its accuracy. So you have to retrain and fine tune and learn from mistakes to be able. So companies first don't have the patience, and when they have the patience, they have only patience till the first deployment. So to actually get a ML model right, it could take you between 12 and 15 months. But when you get it right, the benefits are significant. But you need to have that patience. And the last one, which is related to the first one, is AI is not sorry AI is not linked to business strategy or a business use case. And the final one is the talent and skill gap, right? So you have all the great intentions. You're ready to have patience. You're ready to have a data strategy. But where are the people? Where is the talent? Where is the skill to see it through for a long time? These are big challenges. These are big challenges. They are not easy to overcome for an enterprise, and therefore, for an enterprise to be truly successful with AI, it needs sponsorship from the board and the CEO. Without that, you can give a certificate of guarantee that AI is going to be a failure if it is not coming from the board and the or the CEO. And then you have had to have a multi-pronged strategy. You must have a talent strategy. You must have a data strategy. You must have a business use case of what are you going to use it. So all of these need to be put in place for you to be successful.
So on the personal front, what would you suggest to share or just start in this field? And some career examples or some personal learnings around it, sir?
Well, the first thing that you should know is that, I've been a career CIO, and although I've had analytics and AI teams under me in some, I've never done AI full time. And although when I started my entrepreneurship journey, I started on as a digital consultant. I am now full time and AI whisperer or AI consultant or AI strategy. Hey, jo bolla bollo, but AI. It is
Yeah.
to do with AI. And how can I help enterprises be successful with AI, and how can I help individuals be successful with AI? So on the enterprise side is about, I told you about all the things that one needs to do. On the individual side, I do master classes and workshops and learning sessions on AI, and then I also suggest and mentor people on what they could do to be able to make a career in AI.
So, to know more about Sir, I am just putting his link where you can connect, and it is scrolling down for you people to have a note. So, can be reached on LinkedIn at E-Bari on the LinkedIn link. This is the link that is scrolling down for to reach, and anything that you want to learn on AI, generative AI. He's written books, so you can go through those books. And Mr. Clark has been very active on LinkedIn on the podcast stuff also. He's written many of the blogs on AI. So please have a look around it and ask your questions post this session as well. So going to the next step, how do we balance majorly because human and AI, most of the content that is happening today is more AI generated stuff. How do we know whether there is a human thing that we should strike a balance or intuition and predictivity on AI decision making?
Hmm. Actually, excellent question, by the way. I'm glad you asked it. IMF published a blog
Hmm.
during Davos in second
Okay.
week of January,
Okay.
and its blurb, which is the sub headline behind the main headline, was that AI is going to impact almost 40% of the jobs around the
Okay.
world.
Hmm.
We need a careful balance of policies to make the best use of AI.
Hmm.
Okay,
Right.
so first thing is, every technology wave brings with it productivity. So computers brought productivity, electricity brought productivity, automation brought productivity, industrialization brought productivity, and
Hmm.
every productivity wave gets accelerated because they are sitting on top of the other technology wave. So internet sat on top of computers. AI is going to sit on top of computers and the internet and the cloud, right?
Hmm.
So there will be accelerated adoption of AI, and while it will raise productivity, it is going to displace jobs.
Hmm.
So how do you ensure that there is a either net benefit, net addition of jobs, or at least job neutral, but you do not end up with a significant or a, let's say, adversely impacting numbers on jobs. Okay,
Hmm.
there could be some, but over a long term, it needs to create more jobs than it will displace. And right now, the jury is out whether AI is going to do a net creation of jobs. And my belief is, in the long term, it'll create net creation of jobs, but in the short term, it might lead to. The second thing is about the ethical considerations around AI, and I want to address this ethical consideration from 2 points of view. One is the ethics piece of copyright issues. Am I stealing somebody's patent or copyright or information, and am I, you know, getting into theft, and or I'm committing fraud? right? So there's the ethical use, but there's another group of people who, based on ethics, saying that because AI is going to destroy jobs, I'm not going to use AI. Right. So to those people, first of all, I'm not taking away anything from AI's impact on jobs, or that AI has some ethical boundaries that need to be respected. But what I'm saying is, if you were to take a bank today that employs 25,000 people, how many people would it employ if it did
Hmm.
not have computers and a core banking system? Take a guess. There's a bank that is operating with 25,000 people, let's say it has 10,000 branches. Okay. And not 10,000, I think. Let's say 2,000 branches,
Okay.
25,000 people. How many people would it employ if it did not have a core banking system and computers?
Sir, if you look at that analogy, I think we discussed in our previous podcast, I think. So, what used to happen is we had a lot of teller people during the old, before the systems coming in, right? And every bank had a teller system which was completely moved out when the ATMs came out and they started looking at. I think most of the teller from a banking side, they would lose those jobs. The first at the start of the point. And
Hmm.
the next ledger entry guys who were there, those people lost major of the chunk. This is what my understanding is. But what happened over the period is the bank started other services and cash was limited to 25K. Made available cash was available, made on an ATM for emergency was 25,000, and the business has started again. So my take on the point that you try to look at is jobs will be created, but initially whatever the mundane jobs that are supposed to be done, which are done manually, which can be automated, will be taken over by AI. That's my understanding, right?
Yeah, but I was making a different point, Prem.
So
I'm
sorry. Okay.
simply asking you, if a bank which employs 25,000 people
Mm-hmm.
and uses core banking system and computers, how many people would the bank employ if they didn't have computers and a core banking system and they had the same number of branches and serving the same number of customers? How many employees is it likely to have against 25,000 employees?
It will be more than currently, at least 3 to 4 times
Three
what
to
they
four
currently.
times, right? So
Yeah.
let's say four times. So it will have 100,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, would you make an argument that computers and core banking system have led to a job loss of 75,000 people? You
Can.
could. I'm saying one can make that argument, but
Yeah.
may not. That's not the right perspective to take, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
if a technology becomes available,
Mm-hmm.
businesses are going to use it to become productive and to serve their customers better and
Right.
to remain competitive. So whether so I'm calling out to people who are saying that, because AI is going to replace jobs, I'm not going to use AI ethically.
Okay.
It's morally or ethically wrong to use a technology that is going to cause job losses. And my message to them is, was when a technology becomes available, it is going to be used by businesses
Right.
to become more competitive, to survive in the market, because some players will use it. And if you are in the banking system, everybody else has a CBS, you don't, you will not survive as a bank. So this is the basic survival of businesses, and therefore your jobs depend on the adoption of that. So whether you like AI or not, AI is here to stay, and companies are going to adopt AI from a and therefore, while you can have that perspective of ethics, but you have no option, and
Mm.
businesses have no option to use AI, despite all the problems and the side effects of AI, which every technology has. So that's the second thing. So the first thing that one thing that I told you is ethics. The other one is I told you about jobs. The third one is its misuse.
Mm.
And there are two types of misuse, right? I'm more scared of the second one than the first one. The first
Okay.
one is fraud, right?
Yeah.
And I'm worried about that because as it is without AI, there are so many phishing emails and so on. So
Right.
with the help of AI, the fraudsters are going to appear more and more real, and more people are
Real.
going to come within the net. There will be more cyber attacks, so more people will be taken for a ride. So there is a misuse of AI there.
Right.
And then there is the misuse of AI that can lead to conflicts and violence and based on misinformation, right? This is the second piece. While
Mm.
the first one will impact individually, the thief will win and the police will catch up, the thief will win, the police will catch up. The damage that the second one can do
Yeah.
cannot be undone.
Right.
If a deep fake video of two communities going against each other, whatever, becomes popular, it is very difficult to undo in people's mind once they have seen it,
Correct. Right.
right?
Yeah.
So the second piece of the deep fake and the spread of misinformation using AI is a big
Risk.
threat from AI, and we need very strict laws and regulations to be able to deal with this side effect of AI. And unfortunately, what's going to happen, Prem, is some big incident will need to happen before the world wakes up to these strict regulations,
Right.
right? Otherwise, EU has come up with some good regulations, and they're focused on how they want to find the balance on how do we make the most out of AI, right, without sacrificing the human centricity. So what they're saying, human centric AI development, right? So jobs should not
Mhm.
be impacted. It should be for the betterment of humanity. It should contribute positively to the environment, so on and so on, which is the other thing about AI. But for deep fakes, I think US has made a regulation that if you are creating anything using AI, you have to watermark and you have to write created using AI, so that people know that it is something that has been uh,
Mm.
fabricated. And the last one is going to be its impact on environment.
Yeah.
AI is a fuel guzzler, power guzzler, right? So I think data centers are the biggest energy consumers,
Right.
right? The data
Yeah.
center and energy, and all of it is not clean energy,
Right.
right? So AI itself is causing irreparable damage to the environment. So one has to kind of tame and make AI a little bit more efficient until it becomes efficient. Don't popularize its use. Very difficult, but its impact on environment is another red flag with respect to AI.
Sir, you answered on the ethical consideration. Just to take that question I had in mind, but you answered that. How do you approach the ethical consideration of using predictive AI in decision making, especially in situations where AI recommendation by conflict with human judgment? You are answered in piece part of it. Is there anything that you want to add to this point, sir?
Yeah, so for first thing is, look, you have to spread awareness and keep telling people, just like responsible driving, you have to say
Hmm.
responsible use of AI, both
Yeah.
to enterprises and to individuals that use AI responsibly, prepare, implement AI responsibly, so on and so forth. But this will only go a certain way. The biggest thing is the regulations and the
Yeah.
policies that the governments and regulators need to establish, without which anything to do with ethics around AI, doesn't matter how much you educate, there will always be some bad actors.
Yeah.
And because it is going to be about money, the bad actors are very incentivized to misuse AI. Um, uh, so the way around is having rules and regulations, and getting to rules and regulations is not going to be easy, but it is something that one has to deal with. Let me give you a simple example, right? So if you are trying to reduce crime in your society community, you have put a camera in the lift, you have put a camera in the balcony, right? Now here's the question of privacy versus
Yeah.
security. So you will
Hmm.
have to find where you draw the lines. You have to find the balance. You have to find the balance. But because you have to find the balance doesn't mean that you don't do anything.
Hmm.
So, governments, regulators, and then as I said, enterprises themselves, when they come up with a AI policy and AI framework, they need to be responsible in their thinking of about how. And like the European Union has done, have a policy that my AI strategy is going to be human centric and people centric.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would and work around with that framework of people centric and human centric AI.
So coming to the next level of our generation to next generation, how would workforce are transitioning to the leadership roles, and what advice would you give leveraging predictive AI to make informed decisions, impactful decisions as well?
Love that question. So, do you remember when first email came in? What happened to
Everyone wanted an
leaders?
account there. Yeah, everybody. I am an example. I came from KGF, which is about 90 kilometers, to Bangalore just to create an email ID.
Just to
Uh,
create an email ID. But
yeah,
what were the top CEOs? Some of the CEOs and CXOs and leaders doing when email first came around? They would have their secretary print the email,
hmm.
then the secretary will read out the email, then they will dictate a reply, then the secretary will type the reply, and then the email is going to be sent. Okay,
Okay.
because I am 45, 50. I've never known email. I've only known paper and pen. Right, and
Yeah.
suddenly this email is there as a new medium of communication. It takes time to adapt, right? But then email, the current or let's say the generation right before the current generation of CXOs, were proficient with email, but they were not proficient with digital transformation,
Yeah.
right? Most of them did not study IT as either in school, computers, either in school or in the college. And
Hmm.
suddenly they're running a business and they have to deal with digital and technology and IT and CIOs, so on and so forth. So that took a generation. So
Yes.
now anybody who comes into the workforce is has first read computers in school, then
Hmm.
has some bit of computers in colleges, and is largely proficient on computer skills, browsing the internet, social media, Excel, Word, PPT, whatever that may be. So it has almost taken a generation for us to get used to
Yes.
computer skills. But now computer skills are like, you don't even ask that question. Do you have computer? You just assume everybody has computer.
Yes. Yes.
Whereas if you go back 20, 25 years, that was not the case. Similar is going to be the case with AI, right? Every job is going to require you to know how to harness AI. So if I'm a radiologist, I need to know how I can leverage AI to be able to do better diagnosis,
Hmm.
right? If I'm a customer service executive, I need to learn how to use AI to serve my customers better. If
Hmm.
I am in sales, I need to know how to leverage AI to be able to sell better. So just replace computer skills with using AI skills. What we have is using computer skills. I'm not talking about the technology folks and the developers and the software developers. I'm
Hmm.
talking about the person that you meet when you walk into the bank, who's sitting with a computer, who's typing, using a system to enter your account details and so on and so forth. You need to know how to use computers, or similarly you will need to know how to use AI. So that's going to be the future. One set of workforce will learn how to build AI solutions and product and services, which is the equivalent of the software developers, so on and so forth. So data engineers, data scientists, prompt engineers, so on and so forth. But this will largely be perhaps 5 to 10% of the total workforce. 80 to 90% of the workforce will need to learn how to use AI to maximize the output of the jobs. And the leaders, just like there was a generation of leaders who had not studied computers,
Yeah.
but had to deal with digital transformation. The current generation of leaders have not read AI in school or in college, but
Right.
they will have to deal with the impact of AI now that they are in a CXO role. So they will have to adapt to AI.
Yeah. See, I recall one incident that happened with me itself while you said electronic mail stuff. So I work for a banking customer, right? So it so happened that I told them, sir, you had asked some questions, so I have mailed it to you. Okay, so 3 days passed, 4 days passed, I didn't get a response, and I called him and said, sir, I didn't get your response. He said, I didn't get your mail. I said, what happened? Where is the mail copy given to me? It should be a hard copy, right? Where is that mail coming into my box? It's not there. My mailbox is not having that. Then I said, I sent an electronic mail. We are not used to it. We are a government organization. Okay? Get me the printout. Where is that printout? When did you send it across? I'll ask my secretary to get that, referring to what you were saying sometime back. And it so happened that we had to be very specific in the bank saying that I have sent you an email to this email address. Very specific, and then say, I am not used to it. I'll check and then respond to you. We'll have a call, then I'll respond to what you are. That was the situation where when I started working as a project manager, I went into that situation. Then we said these the government organizations didn't understand digital transformation, as what you rightly said some time back. We had to go in specific either a hard copy of the mail that we have sent and submit that. Then you'll get a seal on it saying that received. Take that, file it into our this one as an audit stuff. That is the situation that we were
Yeah,
there
so,
when we started.
and it's going to repeat with AI,
Yeah, yeah,
right? So some
yeah,
companies will be doing sales forecast based on AI model. Some companies will be doing sales forecast on intuition,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
it will take time. It will take time, but it is here to stay and will undergo. It's just that it's not going to take 20 years.
Now it will be very fast.
In 10 years, it's going to happen in 10 years time.
So my
Complete. No. Yeah.
yeah, my next pointer is what I was talking about. What you said, it is not going to take. Looking ahead, how do you see AI evolving in the next 5 to 10 years? And
Yeah. So
what will the
first,
impact of decision making in specific sense?
yeah. But I would say if you are making any kind of database decision without AI,
Hmm.
then there is an opportunity.
Okay.
Then there is clearly an opportunity, unless there is some amount of explainability which is mandatory in case. Certain regulators say that if you have denied something to a customer, if you have denied a claim to the customer, your AI algorithm might say that deny claim to this customer, but you need to explain why you have denied claim to the customer. And sometimes AI models lack explainability, right? So
Yeah.
barring explainability, ethical, moral, and regulatory considerations, if your decision making, and I'm only talking about complex decisions, right? How much inventory you should carry, how many people should you hire, how many customers are going to default, how many customers are going to churn, so on and so forth. These decisions on AI algorithm. Otherwise, as I gave the example, right? You over forecast, you will there'll be higher cost. You under forecast, there is going to be lesser revenue, or you're going to be suboptimal in customer experience. So, if you are not using AI, uh, you are likely to be left behind. And initially, you'll have a disadvantage, and then sometime later, you just won't be able to survive, right?
Okay.
So that's how I see one way AI evolving. So it will penetrate much more
Hmm.
than the second reason is the thing is generative AI is going to accelerate the adoption of AI,
Hmm.
right? As I told you, classical AI models can take you 12 to 15 months to build one model and deploy one model, right? Plus, it requires very sophisticated data science and data engineering skills. Generative AI is not so, right?
Hmm.
Drafting an email or creating learning content, so on and so forth. There are many things, conversational BI. There are many aspects of generative AI that do not require a 12 to 15 months of implementation, nor do they require sophisticated data skills. but they are of benefit to the business. So you are likely to see generative AI making inroads, and therefore driving the penetration of AI, and will soon be followed with classic AI, saying that okay, now we are doing generative AI, oh, but we missed the bus on classic AI, let's start doing classic AI. So how I
Mm.
see things evolving is, while the world, and I always say this, there is one perspective of it's AI versus human, or human versus AI. It's going to be humans with AI versus humans without AI, and businesses with AI versus businesses without AI. And humans without AI and businesses without AI, they'll find it very difficult to compete, if not to survive.
Okay. Sir, great insights. Thank you for being there with us. So, with this, we would like to conclude our session for today. Thank you for being here, sir. You can reach sir again. I'm scrolling the link of sir on LinkedIn, and you can ask your questions if you have anything. You can ask your questions also on the comment section of this podcast, and this podcast is available on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter as well. So follow us. Hope this session was valuable for you. Thank you, and we will see you on the next session tomorrow at 6:30, where we are going to talk on a topic of innovate, empowering employees to contribute. So that's the point that we're talking on the management lessons tomorrow. We'll have Thomas, Rajiv, and Sunil being part of the session tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. IST. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being us with us. Uh, Good day.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.